tries to resolve the situation. While trying to unclog the pipe, he comes into contact with an unknown substance that turns him into a lilac monster. Terrified, Ken begins to scream, but Mike quickly returns to normal, and the only thing different about his appearance is his hair, which is still purple. Apparently, the creature doesn't remember what happened, but every now and then it transforms into the monster and starts devouring the boxes. As the packages aren't reaching him to be dispatched, Ken takes the opportunity to continue playing in style of cardboard boxes to save the felines. Luckily, just as he was about to be attacked, Mike returns to normal and ends up falling off the pile of boxes. Ken quickly comes down to help his friend, and he manages to vomit up the lilac goo he's ingested. In doing so, Mike accidentally contaminates the kittens, which turn into giant monsters ready to devour them. We will now move on to the story called Training Wheels. The ice cream truck is passing through the neighborhood and, on spotting it, Margot and Edith pedal quickly to catch up. While trying to keep up with her sisters, Agnes ends up falling off her bike, and the minions come over to help her up. In an attempt to help the girl learn to ride a bike, the minions decide to take her to the lab, and, while she trains on an exercise bike, Kevin and Stuart build her a unicorn motorcycle. The following week, as the ice cream truck approaches, Agnes finally manages to catch up with it, but her happiness is interrupted when a thief escapes from the jewelry store he has just robbed and steals the ice cream truck to get. During the chase, the girl has to dodge a giant ice cream and almost has an accident. At that moment, one of the propellers on her motorcycle came loose and hit the truck. Just as she was about to crash into the vehicle, Agnes activates the parachute and manages to save herself, but an explosion occurs and the assailant is thrown onto the windshield of the police car. On that day, the little girl gets to eat her long-dreamed-of ice cream and is featured as a hero in the town's newspaper. After the bike was destroyed, Agnes had to go back to using her old bike, but the minions made some changes to it and, with just one click, the girl manages to transform her bike into a flying suit. We will now move on to the story. In a secret laboratory built underground, Phil and Stuart decide to use their free time to hold a tic-tac-toe competition. But when he realizes he's losing, Phil gets angry and, after crumpling up the paper, throws the ball into a garbage can. After seeing his beautiful shot, he challenges Stuart, who manages to hit the basket from an even greater distance. The dispute continues and Phil manages to break his friend's record, but the little guy doesn't let up and challenges him to a fight. Phil readily accepts the challenge and, at the push of a button, a boxing ring appears in the middle of the laboratory. After putting on their gloves, they enter the ring and start a duel, neither of them coming out on top. So the pair start a fight of thumbs and once again fail to name a winner. Furious, they begin to pummel each other until all their energy is completely exhausted. A few hours later, Phil and Stuart try to resolve their standoff by, after falling from a bridge, instead of despairing, they start a race to see who can reach the ground faster and grab onto 2 bombs to increase the speed of their fall. When they realize what a mistake they've made, it's too late, but luckily the pair manage to survive the explosion. At that moment, they find a sheet of paper and spot the rubbish dump, so they decide to continue the competition, even after all the disaster they've caused. We will now move on to the story called Santa's. While crossing a snowy mountain, the driver responsible for delivering imported goods ends up letting a box fall off the truck. Believing that they have arrived at their destination, the minions come out of hiding and prepare to enjoy a week at the beach. They plan to travel to Miami, but to their surprise, they ended up in Finland. Within minutes, the trio start to freeze and spot a mansion full of lights in the middle of